The skies over Okinawa stretched wide and silent, the early morning light casting a deceptive calm over the island as tension silently built beneath the horizon. Allied forces were preparing a mission of unprecedented secrecy, a plan that could end Japan's air war overnight. Yet its existence was known only to a select circle of commanders, pilots, and intelligence officers. Every detail had been meticulously calculated, from flight paths to enemy radar detection, ensuring that precision and timing would dictate success or failure. The pilots assigned to this mission were the best available, trained for months in simulations, reconnaissance flights, and emergency maneuvers that could save lives in moments of unexpected danger. Engineers and strategists worked tirelessly to prepare aircraft, weapons, and communications equipment, ensuring that nothing could go wrong once the operation commenced. The operation's secrecy was absolute. Even nearby bases were kept uninformed to prevent leaks that could compromise the mission. The stakes were enormous. If successful, the mission would cripple Japan's air defenses, allowing Allied forces to gain uncontested control of the skies and dramatically shorten the conflict in the Pacific. Maps, aerial photographs, and intelligence reports were spread across tables as officers calculated approach angles, fuel requirements, and bombing coordinates, cross-referencing each detail to account for any possible obstacle or enemy action. Pilots studied the terrain, memorized navigation points, and rehearsed emergency procedures, their focus unwavering despite the looming danger. Communication channels were encrypted, multiple contingency plans were prepared, and secondary routes were plotted to account for any deviation from the plan. Outside, Japanese radar operators scanned the horizon, unaware that they were being deceived, their focus drawn to false signals created deliberately to conceal the real approach. Engines hummed quietly as final checks were performed, the mechanical sounds blending with the tense anticipation that filled the air. Each participant understood the risks. A single mistake could lead to failure, capture, or death, but the potential reward was immense, capable of altering the course of the war. Commanders coordinated the timing with precision, ensuring that aircraft would arrive at their targets simultaneously, overwhelming defenses before a coherent response could be mounted. Ground crews worked in silent synchrony, moving supplies, arming bombs, and confirming navigational systems, all while maintaining the operation's strict secrecy. Pilots exchanged terse nods and brief instructions, a silent acknowledgement of shared purpose and mutual reliance, knowing that teamwork would be as important as skill or courage. The operation depended on absolute precision, with every second calculated, every maneuver rehearsed, and every contingency accounted for, leaving no room for error or hesitation. As the sun slowly illuminated the horizon, the island lay in deceptive stillness, masking the orchestrated storm about to unfold above. The mission demanded courage beyond ordinary measure, blending audacity with meticulous preparation, and challenging every pilot, officer, and engineer to rise to an extraordinary occasion. Confidence born from discipline, training, and careful planning remained steadfast, as every participant understood that their actions would resonate far beyond the island, influencing the fate of nations. This was not merely a military operation, it was a decisive stroke, combining strategy, intelligence, and human resolve into a single synchronized effort that could reshape the Pacific conflict forever. Each breath was measured, every movement deliberate, as dawn approached the moment when history itself would bear witness to an operation conceived in secrecy, executed with precision, and capable of ending Japan's aerial power in a single night. The calm over Okinawa was temporary, fragile, and misleading. What lay ahead was a mission of unparalleled risk, planning, and historic significance, ready to unfold with consequences that would echo across the Pacific theater for the remainder of the war. As the first rays of sunlight touched Okinawa's coastline, the operation moved from preparation to execution, each element synchronized with precision to ensure success. Pilots climbed into their aircraft, engines roaring softly, the hum a constant reminder of the critical mission ahead. Ground crews conducted final inspections, checking weapons, fuel, and communications, confirming that every instrument was operational and every measure taken to prevent error. Strategists monitored radar and weather conditions, cross-referencing intelligence to determine optimal flight paths that would minimize detection and maximize impact. The pilots, aware of the immense responsibility, mentally reviewed every step, calculating speed, altitude, and timing down to the second, knowing that the mission's success hinged on flawless execution. Japanese radar stations scanned the horizon tirelessly, oblivious to the diversionary tactics implemented hours earlier, leaving gaps in coverage that the Allied aircraft would exploit with deadly precision. Each aircraft maintained strict formation, navigating over treacherous waters and rugged terrain, avoiding anti-aircraft positions and early warning systems with practiced skill. The operation's secrecy extended beyond immediate personnel. Only a handful of commanders knew the mission's true objectives, ensuring that no inadvertent disclosure could compromise its success. As the aircraft approached key targets, operators adjusted instruments, maintained communication channels, and verified coordinates, each action executed flawlessly under extreme pressure. The psychological tension was palpable, yet discipline, training, and preparation ensured that fear did not overwhelm resolve. Pilots and crew understood that their actions could not only destroy enemy air power, but also save countless Allied lives by preventing further aerial attacks. Ground support teams remained vigilant, monitoring progress, prepared to respond to contingencies and ready to provide assistance if unexpected developments occurred. The meticulous planning paid dividends as aircraft reached their targets simultaneously, releasing ordnance with extraordinary accuracy, neutralizing airfields, fuel depots, and command centers critical to Japan's air operations. Explosions illuminated the terrain, smoke rising against the morning sky, while alarms and sirens signaled confusion and panic among Japanese forces. Operators maintained radio silence, except for encrypted messages, coordinating retreat paths, updates, and reporting success to Central Command. Citizens far below witnessed flashes in the sky, a mix of awe and fear, unaware of the full scope yet sensing that something monumental was unfolding. The mission's execution combined technical precision, tactical brilliance, and human courage in a seamless ballet that left little margin for error, yet achieved maximum effect. Japanese commanders struggled to comprehend the sudden devastation, scrambling forces and attempting countermeasures, only to encounter further confusion and failure as the operation continued uninterrupted. By midday, Japan's aerial capabilities were severely compromised, planes destroyed, fuel reserves decimated, and key personnel eliminated, rendering further organized resistance from the air virtually impossible. Allied pilots returned to base, exhausted but triumphant, aware that their actions had ended the enemy's ability to project air power, achieving what many had considered impossible. The broader strategic implications were immediately evident. Allied forces gained aerial dominance, supply lines were protected, and morale soared among troops across the Pacific theater. Commanders debriefed teams meticulously, analyzing every maneuver, noting lessons, and ensuring that operational knowledge would inform future missions, while also reinforcing the extraordinary courage and skill demonstrated. This operation, executed in secrecy, achieved a decisive and irreversible outcome, demonstrating the power of meticulous planning, audacity, and human resolve to alter the course of conflict in a single night. The skies over Okinawa, once tense and uncertain, now bore silent witness to a turning point in history, where precision, bravery, and strategic brilliance converged to end Japan's air war overnight. Every participant, from pilot to ground crew, understood that their contribution had reshaped the theater of operations, leaving an enduring mark on the Pacific campaign and establishing a precedent for future missions of similar ambition, secrecy, and impact. Okinawa, 1945, was a pivotal location in the Pacific theater, a strategic island whose capture would bring Allied forces within striking distance of mainland Japan. The island's geography was challenging: rugged hills, dense vegetation, and a coastline patrolled by enemy forces created a natural fortress, while Japanese troops had fortified positions with artillery, bunkers, and observation posts. Allied commanders recognized that controlling Okinawa's airfields was essential for launching further operations and ensuring air superiority in the region. Intelligence teams had gathered detailed information about enemy deployments, communication lines, and defensive strategies, using reconnaissance flights, intercepted transmissions, and local informants to build a comprehensive picture of the operational environment. The secret mission aimed to exploit vulnerabilities revealed through this intelligence, targeting airfields, fuel storage, and command centers critical to Japan's ability to conduct aerial warfare. Coordination between multiple branches of the military, including naval, air, and ground forces, was paramount. Pilots had to synchronize takeoff times, flight paths, and attack sequences to maximize effectiveness and minimize exposure to anti-aircraft fire. Engineers worked tirelessly to prepare aircraft with modifications for optimal performance, ensuring that payloads were precise and that navigation equipment functioned flawlessly under pressure. Resistance networks and local allies provided additional information, tracking movements of enemy personnel and reporting unusual activity, although the extent of their knowledge remained limited to protect them from reprisal. The mission planners faced extraordinary challenges. Weather conditions could alter flight dynamics, radar detection could compromise secrecy, and human error could lead to catastrophic failure. Every factor was accounted for, rehearsed and adjusted in advance, creating contingency plans for nearly every conceivable scenario. Briefings for the pilots included detailed maps, weather reports, target lists, and contingency procedures, emphasizing the importance of precision, timing, and adherence to protocols. The island's terrain and enemy fortifications required careful navigation, with specific routes designed to avoid predictable patterns that could alert Japanese defenders. Each aircraft was equipped with communication and navigation systems calibrated for reliability, while ordnance specialists ensured that bombs were correctly fused and loaded to achieve maximum effect on critical infrastructure. Ground crews, aware of the stakes, maintained equipment under extreme secrecy, moving swiftly yet silently to prevent detection and ensuring that aircraft were ready for immediate deployment. The psychological preparation of pilots and crew was equally crucial. Mental rehearsals, stress management, and team coordination exercises ensured that every individual could operate under extreme pressure. Allied commanders emphasized the importance of discipline, focus, and unwavering commitment, reminding personnel that the mission's success depended not only on technical skill, but also on courage, composure, and the ability to make rapid decisions in unforeseen circumstances. The background of this operation was a blend of careful intelligence gathering, meticulous planning, and strategic foresight, combining the expertise of multiple departments to achieve a singular, decisive objective. The stakes could not have been higher. Failure would result in extended aerial campaigns, increased casualties, and potential setbacks in the broader Pacific strategy, while success promised to neutralize Japanese air power overnight, allowing Allied forces to seize the initiative and accelerate the conclusion of the war. As final preparations continued, pilots and commanders reviewed every detail one last time, aware that history would judge their actions and that the mission would require flawless execution under circumstances fraught with danger and uncertainty. The background established the context for a daring operation, where intelligence, planning, and human resolve converged to create the conditions for a historic and decisive strike. Every factor, from terrain to enemy deployment to technical preparation, had been scrutinized, ensuring that the mission was not a gamble but a calculated, high-stakes operation designed to deliver strategic victory through precision, skill, and courage. The early days leading up to the secret mission were filled with intense planning, coordination, and anticipation, as every detail had to align perfectly for the operation to succeed. Allied commanders analyzed intelligence reports repeatedly, confirming the locations of Japanese airfields, the density of anti-aircraft positions, and the timing of patrols, creating an intricate schedule that allowed the aircraft to reach targets without alerting enemy forces. Weather patterns were studied meticulously, including wind speeds, cloud cover, and potential storms, with contingency plans prepared to adjust flight paths if conditions changed unexpectedly. Pilots rehearsed maneuvers over simulated maps and model landscapes, practicing approaches, evasive tactics, and emergency landings, ensuring that every possible scenario had been considered. Ground crews maintained a constant vigil over aircraft, fuel supplies, and ordnance, making final calibrations to navigational systems and weaponry, while maintaining the utmost secrecy to prevent leaks or inadvertent detection. Every member of the operation understood that success depended on the flawless integration of intelligence, skill and timing, with each component working in harmony to achieve the mission's decisive objectives. The island itself presented challenges. Dense vegetation, undulating terrain, and narrow coastal approaches demanded precise navigation, while Japanese observation posts monitored every potential ingress and egress point. Strategists devised routes that minimized exposure, capitalizing on blind spots, diversions, and natural cover, creating a path that allowed aircraft to approach targets undetected. Communication systems were tested under strict protocols, ensuring that encrypted channels could operate reliably even under interference, with redundancy plans to maintain coordination in the event of technical failure. The pilots and crew underwent rigorous mental preparation, focusing on discipline, concentration, and teamwork, recognizing that their training would be tested under extreme stress. Leadership emphasized the importance of composure, decision-making under pressure, and the responsibility each individual carried for the mission's overall success. Even minor errors could jeopardize the entire operation, making attention to detail a critical element of planning. Reconnaissance teams provided final updates, confirming enemy movements and potential vulnerabilities, allowing planners to refine approach angles and strike priorities. Aircraft were fueled, armed, and calibrated, each system tested repeatedly to eliminate the possibility of malfunction, as reliability was paramount in a high-stakes operation where timing and precision determined outcome. The broader strategic context reinforced the mission's importance. Japan's air capabilities had been a persistent threat, challenging Allied supply lines, naval operations, and troop movements, while causing significant casualties and delaying the progress of the Pacific campaign. By neutralizing air power in a single night, the Allies aimed not only to gain tactical advantage, but also to deliver a psychological blow, undermining enemy confidence and demonstrating the effectiveness of coordinated planning and superior intelligence. Every aspect of the operation, from equipment to personnel to strategy, was scrutinized repeatedly, ensuring that the probability of success was maximized while risks were carefully managed. The final briefings emphasized coordination, timing, and execution, instilling confidence while reinforcing the gravity of the mission. Pilots memorized flight paths, communication codes, and emergency procedures, internalizing every element of the plan. Ground crews rehearsed rapid deployment and recovery, prepared to support the operation under extreme pressure. Commanders remained vigilant, monitoring progress and adjusting plans dynamically based on unfolding intelligence, ensuring that every decision reinforced the mission's objectives. The background of this operation illustrates the blend of strategy, intelligence, and human determination required to execute a mission capable of ending Japan's air war overnight, demonstrating that meticulous preparation and disciplined execution can achieve extraordinary results in the most challenging conditions of warfare. As the aircraft approached Okinawa under the veil of pre-dawn darkness, tension reached a peak, each participant acutely aware of the danger awaiting them. Japanese radar systems scanned the skies, their operators vigilant, trained to detect even the smallest anomaly in movement, while anti-aircraft batteries were poised to respond instantly to any breach of airspace. The pilots, aware of these threats, maintained absolute focus, relying on years of training and meticulous planning to navigate precisely, avoiding detection and ensuring that the mission proceeded without compromise. Every second was critical. Deviation from the assigned path could result in catastrophic exposure, endangering not only the mission but also the lives of every crew member. Communications were minimal and encrypted, allowing only essential coordination to flow between aircraft and command centers, ensuring that no inadvertent transmissions betrayed the approach. The psychological pressure was immense, yet the pilots exhibited extraordinary discipline, their eyes scanning instruments, maps, and the horizon, anticipating every possible response from enemy forces. Japanese defenses were formidable, including concentrated anti-aircraft fire, coordinated patrols, and observation posts designed to monitor every movement. Yet the Allied strategy relied on exploiting weaknesses identified through intelligence and careful reconnaissance. Operators adjusted radar jamming devices, deployed diversionary tactics, and timed approaches with precision to create openings through which aircraft could pass undetected. Ground crews monitored each aircraft, confirming altitude, speed, and trajectory, ready to respond to contingencies while maintaining absolute secrecy. The enemy, unaware of the full scope of the operation, interpreted movements as routine or minor activity, a miscalculation that would prove critical in the coming hours. Pilots executed maneuvers with precision, banking, climbing, and descending as planned, maintaining strict formation, while adjusting to environmental factors, including wind currents, cloud cover, and terrain features. The stakes were unprecedented. Failure would result in the continuation of Japan's air threat, prolonging the war and potentially causing further loss of life, while success promised to cripple enemy air capabilities overnight, altering the strategic balance in the Pacific. Anti-aircraft fire occasionally flared in the distance, forcing pilots to make rapid micro-adjustments, relying on training and instincts honed through countless drills and simulations. The synchronized timing of multiple aircraft allowed the mission to proceed in waves, overwhelming defenses in bursts that maximized effectiveness while minimizing exposure. Intelligence reports were continuously cross-referenced with real-time observations, confirming targets, assessing threats, and ensuring that the plan unfolded as anticipated. Each pilot was acutely aware that the mission's success required not only skill, but also courage under extreme pressure, the ability to make split-second decisions, and unwavering adherence to the coordinated plan. The combination of strategic foresight, technical precision, and human resolve created a dynamic environment in which every decision could have profound consequences. Japanese commanders struggled to interpret the sudden concentration of aircraft, issuing orders and attempting defensive maneuvers. Yet the operations design had anticipated their responses, ensuring that the enemy remained off balance and reactive rather than proactive. As the first ordnance was released, explosions illuminated the terrain, signaling the initial success of the mission while simultaneously heightening tension for remaining aircraft still en route. Pilots adjusted trajectories, confirmed visual cues, and communicated encrypted status updates, each action executed with meticulous care to maintain the integrity of the operation. The unfolding conflict demonstrated the delicate balance between human skill, technological capability, and strategic planning, a combination that could determine the success or failure of a mission capable of ending Japan's air war in a single night. The second wave of aircraft continued their approach, each pilot navigating with precision, maintaining formation while responding to subtle environmental changes, including sudden gusts of wind and unexpected cloud formations. Japanese radar operators remained unaware of the full scale of the operation, their screens cluttered with deceptive signals, a result of Allied electronic countermeasures that masked the true trajectory of approaching aircraft. Anti-aircraft batteries remained on high alert, yet their responses were delayed and disorganized, allowing the mission to progress with minimal interference. Pilots monitored instruments constantly, cross-referencing maps, visual cues, and navigation data to ensure absolute adherence to the mission plan. Each action was deliberate, timed to the second, with contingencies prepared for any unforeseen obstacles or mechanical issues. Ground crews maintained vigilant monitoring, prepared to relay critical updates, while ensuring that secrecy and operational integrity remained uncompromised. The psychological strain on every participant was immense, yet training, discipline, and meticulous preparation allowed the team to operate with extraordinary composure. The terrain of Okinawa posed unique challenges. Dense foliage, steep inclines, and narrow coastal approaches required constant adjustments and acute situational awareness to avoid detection and optimize targeting accuracy. Japanese commanders, still unaware of the mission's true scope, attempted to coordinate defenses, yet the operation's timing, precision, and deceptive tactics rendered these efforts largely ineffective. Bombs were released on critical infrastructure, including airfields, fuel depots, and command centers, each detonation executed with remarkable accuracy, neutralizing the enemy's ability to coordinate further aerial operations. Explosions illuminated the landscape, casting shadows across hills, valleys, and settlements, while the roar of engines and debris underscored the intensity of the operation. Pilots executed evasive maneuvers immediately after ordnance release, maintaining speed altitude and formation integrity to avoid anti-aircraft retaliation. Communication channels remained encrypted, with only essential updates transmitted to ensure coordination without compromising security. The mission's design accounted for redundancy, allowing aircraft to adjust flight paths in real time if enemy interference occurred, ensuring continuity and maximizing operational impact. Japanese forces struggled to respond effectively, their command structure disrupted by simultaneous attacks, miscommunications, and the unexpected scale of destruction. Allied strategists monitored progress closely, making real-time calculations to optimize subsequent waves, confirming that each target had been successfully engaged and that the mission remained on schedule. Each pilot understood the gravity of the operation, aware that precise execution could determine the success or failure of an action capable of reshaping the Pacific theater. As the final aircraft completed its strike, the combined effect was unmistakable. Japan's air defenses were crippled, fuel and aircraft losses were catastrophic, and command structures were thrown into chaos. The mission achieved its primary objective with unprecedented efficiency, demonstrating the extraordinary coordination, skill, and courage of every participant involved. Reports confirmed that enemy air operations would be severely hindered, granting Allied forces uncontested control of the skies over Okinawa and surrounding areas. The successful execution of the mission reflected the culmination of meticulous planning, rigorous training, technological innovation, and unwavering human resolve. The skies over Okinawa, once tense and foreboding, now symbolized the turning point of aerial conflict, where strategy, precision, and courage converged to neutralize a formidable enemy overnight. Every detail, from navigation to targeting to communication, had been executed flawlessly, highlighting the critical interplay between intelligence, preparation, and execution. The conflict phase illustrated not only the operational complexity, but also the decisive impact of well-planned, high-risk missions, showcasing the capability of disciplined forces to achieve what many considered impossible. The success of this mission would resonate far beyond Okinawa, demonstrating to commanders, pilots, and strategists across the Pacific the power of precision, coordination, and courage in altering the course of war decisively and irreversibly. The moment of action had arrived, the culmination of weeks of preparation, intelligence gathering, and meticulous planning converging over the skies of Okinawa. Pilots, instruments calibrated, engines steady, navigated precisely to designated targets, aware that the success of the mission hinged on perfect timing, synchronization, and flawless execution. Every aircraft moved with purpose, following calculated vectors designed to exploit gaps in enemy detection, while ground crews and command centers monitored progress, ready to provide updates and coordinate subsequent waves. Japanese defenses, despite their readiness, were caught off guard by the operation's speed, deception, and precision, their radar operators misled by electronic countermeasures and false signals that masked the true trajectory of Allied aircraft. The first wave reached its primary targets, releasing ordnance with extraordinary accuracy, hitting airfields, fuel depots, and command centers critical to Japan's air operations. Explosions illuminated the morning sky, sending plumes of smoke into the atmosphere and triggering alarms that signaled chaos among Japanese forces. Pilots executed evasive maneuvers immediately after ordnance release, maintaining altitude, formation, and communication protocols, while ensuring that each aircraft remained synchronized with the overall mission plan. Communication was minimal, encrypted, and strictly controlled, allowing for essential coordination without compromising operational security or revealing critical details to the enemy. The second wave followed closely, adjusting to environmental factors and dynamic conditions, ensuring that all designated targets were engaged, while redundancy plans accounted for any unforeseen obstacles or mechanical issues. Intelligence updates confirmed the impact of each strike, allowing commanders to adjust subsequent actions, while the coordinated execution ensured that Japanese responses remained disorganized, delayed, and ineffective. Anti-aircraft fire sporadically erupted, yet pilots trained for high-stress scenarios maneuvered with skill and precision, minimizing exposure and maintaining the momentum of the operation. Observers on the ground, both Allied and neutral, watched in awe as the mission unfolded with unprecedented coordination. Witnessing a display of strategy, bravery, and technical prowess that would become a case study in military planning and execution. Each detonation, each tactical adjustment, and each evasive maneuver demonstrated the critical interplay between human skill, technological capability, and meticulous preparation. Ground crews, while physically removed from the combat zone, remained integral to success, monitoring fuel, ordnance, and navigational data, ready to respond to contingencies, and ensuring that each subsequent phase of the mission progressed smoothly. Japanese commanders, still struggling to comprehend the scale and effectiveness of the attacks, scrambled forces, attempted defensive countermeasures, and issued emergency orders, yet the Allies' strategy anticipated these reactions, neutralizing their impact through timing, diversion, and overwhelming force. The operation's design ensured that aircraft could retreat safely while maximizing damage to critical infrastructure, leaving the enemy incapable of mounting immediate aerial resistance. Pilots communicated through encrypted channels, reporting target engagement, environmental conditions, and any deviations from planned trajectories, reinforcing coordination while maintaining security. The psychological tension was immense, yet each participant executed responsibilities with discipline, courage, and focus, understanding that precision, timing, and coordination would determine the operation's ultimate success. By midday, the combined effect of the waves of aircraft was unmistakable. Japan's air capabilities were effectively neutralized, command structures disrupted, and key facilities destroyed, rendering further coordinated aerial defense nearly impossible. The mission demonstrated that meticulous preparation, strategic foresight, and human resolve could achieve results previously considered unattainable, altering the dynamics of the Pacific Theater in a single decisive operation. Every pilot, crew member, and strategist involved understood the historic significance of their actions, aware that this operation would be remembered not only for its audacity, but also for its precision, execution, and transformative impact on the course of the war. The second phase of the mission unfolded with ruthless precision. Aircraft maintaining formation, pilots executing every maneuver with unwavering focus, aware that the success of the operation depended on synchronization, timing, and absolute adherence to the plan. Japanese defenses, already reeling from the initial strikes, attempted to regroup, deploying anti-aircraft batteries, scrambling fighters, and coordinating ground responses. Yet confusion and disruption prevented effective retaliation. Pilots released ordnance on secondary targets, including supply depots, communication centers, and remaining operational airfields, each strike executed with meticulous attention to accuracy and timing, ensuring maximum impact while minimizing exposure to enemy fire. Explosions erupted across the island, shaking terrain, sending plumes of smoke into the sky, and creating chaos among Japanese personnel who struggled to interpret the scale and scope of the attack. Each aircraft executed evasive maneuvers post-strike, maintaining formation, altitude, and speed, while carefully adjusting to environmental variables such as wind gusts, cloud cover, and terrain obstacles. Ground crews monitored aircraft telemetry, fuel levels, ordnance status, and communication channels, ready to provide support or adjust subsequent instructions as needed. Ensuring operational integrity remained uncompromised. Commanders tracked the unfolding mission in real time, confirming that objectives were met, targets neutralized, and enemy response delayed or ineffective, allowing remaining aircraft to continue with confidence. Pilots and crew, despite extreme psychological pressure, operated with discipline, courage, and unwavering concentration, aware that any deviation or lapse could jeopardize the mission and its strategic consequences. Intelligence teams provided continuous feedback, verifying damage, tracking enemy movements, and ensuring that subsequent waves adjusted tactics accordingly to maintain effectiveness. Anti-aircraft fire flared sporadically, yet coordination, timing, and evasive expertise allowed aircraft to avoid significant threats, maintaining the momentum necessary to achieve decisive results. The strategic impact became evident as each successive strike compounded damage, crippling Japan's capacity to conduct organized aerial operations while simultaneously demoralizing personnel and disrupting command chains. Communication remained strictly controlled and encrypted, with only critical updates transmitted, ensuring operational security and preventing enemy interception. Observers and Allied forces on neighboring islands monitored the operation, noting the extraordinary coordination, audacity, and precision that characterized every phase, recognizing the mission as an unprecedented demonstration of tactical and strategic prowess. Japanese commanders, now fully aware of the scale of destruction, attempted emergency measures to salvage remaining forces, yet the mission's design anticipated their actions, neutralizing these efforts and maintaining operational dominance. Pilots completed final bombing runs, verified target engagement, and coordinated withdrawal paths, executing every instruction with exacting precision, aware that success relied on collective discipline and execution. By late afternoon, the combined efforts had achieved complete operational objectives. Enemy air power was effectively neutralized, key infrastructure destroyed, and command networks disrupted, leaving Japanese forces incapable of mounting meaningful aerial resistance. The success was undeniable, demonstrating the culmination of intelligence, planning, skill, and human resolve, where every element functioned in harmony to deliver a decisive, historic outcome. Pilots returned to base, engines cooling, faces marked by exhaustion and relief, aware that their actions had permanently altered the aerial balance over Okinawa and the broader Pacific theater. Ground crews, strategists, and intelligence officers meticulously documented the operation, analyzing results, confirming targets, and preparing debriefings, highlighting lessons learned and the extraordinary achievements of all personnel involved. The mission's impact extended far beyond immediate tactical gains, establishing air superiority, protecting Allied forces, and demonstrating the power of coordinated planning, precise execution, and human courage to achieve objectives once thought impossible. By the end of the day, Japan's ability to wage an organized air war had been eliminated overnight, a testament to the extraordinary planning, skill, and bravery exhibited throughout the operation. The skies over Okinawa, once tense and foreboding, now symbolized the decisive turning point, where meticulous preparation, audacity, and human resolve combined to reshape the course of the Pacific War irrevocably. Every participant understood the historic significance of their actions, a night of unparalleled achievement that would be remembered as a defining moment in World War II history. The immediate aftermath of the secret mission revealed the full magnitude of its impact, as Japanese forces struggled to comprehend the rapid and precise destruction inflicted upon their air capabilities. Airfields lay in ruins, fuel depots were engulfed in flames, and command centers had been obliterated, leaving the enemy's ability to coordinate any aerial response virtually non-existent. Pilots and crew returned to base exhausted yet triumphant, aware that their actions had decisively altered the balance of power in the Pacific theater. Intelligence teams began collecting reports from reconnaissance flights and on-the-ground observers, confirming that every primary target had been successfully engaged and assessing the extent of damage to secondary objectives. Allied commanders reviewed the operation in detail, analyzing flight paths, ordnance deployment, and enemy reactions, noting the precision and efficiency with which the mission had achieved its objectives. Morale among Allied forces surged as word of the mission's success spread, demonstrating the power of meticulous planning, coordination, and human resolve to achieve seemingly impossible goals. The mission's outcome not only neutralized Japan's air power overnight, but also provided strategic advantages, allowing Allied forces to conduct operations with minimal aerial threat, secure supply lines, and plan further offensives with confidence. Pilots and crew received recognition for their extraordinary skill and bravery, their precise execution under extreme pressure serving as a model for future missions. Engineers and ground crews were lauded for ensuring that every aircraft, piece of equipment, and navigation system functioned flawlessly, reinforcing the critical importance of preparation in complex operations. Japanese commanders faced the grim reality of lost air superiority, struggling to regroup and respond to the unexpected devastation, while Allied intelligence monitored remaining capabilities to prevent any resurgence. Communication networks were in disarray, and strategic coordination among enemy forces had been disrupted, leaving isolated units unable to mount effective countermeasures. The immediate consequences extended beyond tactical gains. Psychological effects rippled through Japanese forces, eroding confidence and demonstrating the effectiveness of Allied planning and execution. The destruction of air infrastructure prevented reinforcement of defensive positions, granting ground forces a significant advantage and reducing the risk of aerial attacks on advancing troops. Every participant in the operation, from pilots to strategists to ground crews, recognized the historic significance of their actions, understanding that the mission would be remembered as a turning point in the Pacific War. Debriefings emphasized lessons learned, highlighting the importance of intelligence, coordination, timing, and precision in high-stakes operations, while also acknowledging the courage and resolve exhibited under extreme conditions. Allied leadership disseminated the results strategically, informing field commanders, planning future operations, and reinforcing morale across multiple theaters. Reports detailed exact damages, including destroyed aircraft, incapacitated airfields, and disrupted communication networks, providing critical data for ongoing strategic planning. The operation underscored the effectiveness of integrating human skill, technological innovation, and meticulous preparation, demonstrating that carefully coordinated actions could achieve decisive results with minimal risk to personnel when executed flawlessly. Japanese forces, meanwhile, attempted emergency measures to salvage equipment and re-establish communication, yet the mission's timing, coordination, and precision had left their capabilities irreparably compromised. The broader strategic impact became evident as Allied planners projected the operational benefits: control of the skies, uninterrupted supply lines, and enhanced freedom of movement for both air and ground forces. Historians later would describe the mission as an extraordinary example of how disciplined execution, comprehensive intelligence, and audacity could converge to create a decisive turning point in a theater of war, altering the trajectory of conflict overnight. The immediate outcome was more than a tactical victory. It represented a strategic transformation, securing dominance in the air, demoralizing enemy forces, and validating the extensive planning, preparation, and courage invested by every participant involved in the mission. The following days reinforced the irreversible consequences of the operation, as Japanese forces struggled to recover from the sudden and devastating loss of air power. Reconnaissance confirmed that key airfields remained inoperative, supply lines had been disrupted, and critical command centers were non-functional, leaving the enemy unable to coordinate even minor aerial activities. Allied commanders capitalized on the situation, deploying aircraft and ground forces with confidence, knowing that the skies were now securely controlled and supply routes protected from unexpected attacks. Pilots reflected on the operation's intensity, recognizing that their disciplined execution had transformed a carefully planned mission into a historic success, a single event that reshaped the Pacific theater. Ground crews, engineers, and strategists received commendations, their meticulous work ensuring that each aircraft, ordnance, and navigation system performed flawlessly, contributing directly to the operation's decisive outcome. The psychological effect on Japanese forces was profound. Morale plummeted, confusion spread through command chains, and the sudden inability to respond to Allied movements created uncertainty and fear, magnifying the operational impact beyond physical destruction. Intelligence teams documented every detail, analyzing what worked flawlessly and identifying minor areas for improvement, ensuring that the lessons from this operation would inform future missions and strategic planning. The mission demonstrated the power of synchronization, precision, and courage, where every participant, from pilots navigating treacherous skies to strategists coordinating from command centers, contributed to the success with unwavering dedication. Commanders disseminated the results strategically, highlighting achievements, confirming neutralized threats, and reinforcing the confidence of field units, who could now operate with reduced risk from aerial opposition. Detailed reports included exact numbers of destroyed aircraft, incapacitated airfields, and disrupted communications, providing clear metrics of success and invaluable data for ongoing operational planning. The broader strategic impact was immediately apparent, With Japanese air power neutralized, Allied forces could advance more rapidly, supply chains were secured, and future operations could be conducted with enhanced efficiency and reduced casualties. The mission's effectiveness underscored the importance of meticulous preparation, technological integration, and disciplined execution, demonstrating that careful planning combined with audacious action could achieve what many had considered impossible. Historians and military analysts later praised the operation for its precise coordination, the seamless integration of intelligence and execution, and the courage demonstrated under extreme risk, highlighting it as a textbook example of operational excellence. Japanese attempts to salvage remaining forces, repair airfields, or re-establish communications were rendered ineffective by the precision and timing of the mission, confirming the permanent nature of the disruption. The success of the operation influenced subsequent campaigns, allowing Allied forces to maintain momentum, exert control over critical regions, and plan further offensive actions without fear of unexpected aerial interference. Pilots, having completed multiple sorties under extreme stress, returned to base with a profound sense of accomplishment, aware that their actions had not only achieved tactical objectives, but also altered the strategic landscape decisively. Ground personnel meticulously documented technical performance, ordnance effectiveness, and navigation accuracy, ensuring that the operational knowledge gained would enhance readiness for future high-stakes missions. The outcome highlighted the interconnectedness of strategy, intelligence, and human skill, demonstrating that victory was achieved not through sheer force alone, but through the careful orchestration of countless details executed flawlessly under pressure. In retrospect, the mission exemplified the essence of military precision, audacity, and foresight, where each calculated move contributed to an overwhelming, irreversible success, cementing the operation as a turning point in the Pacific War. The skies above Okinawa, once a domain of constant threat, now symbolized Allied dominance, the result of disciplined planning, courageous execution, and strategic brilliance, leaving a permanent mark on the history of aerial warfare. Every participant understood that their role had been critical, and the success would be remembered as a historic achievement, a moment where preparation, courage, and precision combined to achieve the impossible. As the dust settled over Okinawa, the reality of the mission's success became unmistakable, leaving Allied forces in control of the skies and Japanese forces stunned by the rapid and precise devastation inflicted upon their air capabilities. Pilots, engineers, and ground crews reflected on the extraordinary coordination, skill, and courage that had made such a decisive operation possible, aware that their combined efforts had achieved results previously considered impossible. The meticulous planning that had gone into every aspect of the mission, from intelligence, gathering and reconnaissance to aircraft, modifications and ordnance calibration, had ensured that every phase unfolded flawlessly, demonstrating the power of preparation and human resolve. Reports and debriefings documented the full extent of the operation, detailing destroyed airfields, incapacitated aircraft, and disrupted communication networks, confirming the mission's immediate and long-term impact on Japan's ability to wage aerial warfare. Commanders emphasized the importance of discipline, timing, and precision, highlighting how adherence to protocol and coordinated execution transformed a risky plan into an unprecedented success. Allied morale surged as the news of the operation spread, inspiring confidence and demonstrating the effectiveness of combined intelligence, strategy, and bravery in achieving critical objectives. The mission's success also had profound strategic implications, allowing for uninterrupted supply lines, accelerated offensive operations, and enhanced security for ground and naval forces in the Pacific theater. Pilots and crew, despite exhaustion, understood the historical significance of their actions, recognizing that their bravery and skill had permanently altered the balance of power, a feat that would be studied by military historians and strategists for decades to come. Ground crews and engineers received commendations for their indispensable role, ensuring that aircraft were meticulously prepared, navigation systems calibrated, and ordnance deployed accurately, reinforcing the critical importance of preparation and technical expertise in complex operations. Japanese forces faced a sobering reality. Airfields lay in ruins, command centers destroyed, and remaining personnel demoralized, unable to mount effective counterattacks or re-establish previous levels of operational capability. The mission's impact extended beyond immediate tactical and strategic advantages, affecting morale, confidence, and the ability of enemy commanders to coordinate further operations, illustrating the profound consequences of well-executed, high-stakes missions. Intelligence officers and strategists analyzed every detail, from flight paths and timing sequences to ordnance deployment and enemy reactions, ensuring that lessons learned could inform future operations and enhance overall effectiveness. The psychological effect on Japanese forces was significant, as the rapid and overwhelming success undermined confidence, sowed confusion, and demonstrated the lethal precision and coordination of Allied capabilities. Pilots recounted the mission's challenges, including navigating treacherous skies, avoiding detection, and executing ordnance release with exacting accuracy, highlighting the extreme pressure under which each individual operated. The operation became a defining example of how meticulous planning, audacity, and disciplined execution could achieve transformative results, where every element, from human skill to technological innovation, contributed to a historic outcome. Allied leadership disseminated the results carefully, reinforcing morale, informing field commanders, and demonstrating the strategic value of coordinated operations that combined intelligence, precision, and courage. Historians later described the mission as a turning point in the Pacific War, showcasing the extraordinary impact of a single operation executed with flawless coordination, discipline, and skill. The skies over Okinawa, once dominated by Japanese air power, now symbolized Allied dominance, achieved through preparation, audacity, and human resolve, leaving an indelible mark on the history of aerial warfare. Every participant, from pilots and crew to engineers and strategists, understood the historic significance of their contributions, knowing that the mission's success would resonate through military planning, history books, and strategic studies for generations. The closing of the operation marked not only the end of a meticulously executed mission, but also a testament to the power of precision, courage, and collaborative human effort in achieving what was once considered impossible. The legacy of the operation endured, a reminder that with discipline, preparation, and skill, even the most formidable challenges could be overcome, leaving a permanent mark on the Pacific theater and the broader course of World War II. The final phase of the mission highlighted the enduring impact of meticulous planning, coordination, and execution, as Okinawa's skies remained firmly under Allied control, and Japanese forces faced the daunting task of recovering from unparalleled aerial devastation. Reports confirmed that every targeted airfield had been neutralized, supply depots destroyed, and communication networks incapacitated, leaving enemy personnel disoriented and unable to mount effective aerial operations. Pilots, engineers, and ground crews reflected on the historic nature of their achievements, recognizing that the operation had not only accomplished immediate objectives, but also reshaped strategic possibilities across the Pacific theater. Allied commanders emphasized the lessons learned, stressing that precise timing, synchronization, and disciplined execution were essential components in converting complex plans into decisive victories, reinforcing confidence in planning for future high-risk operations. Morale among Allied forces reached unprecedented levels, inspired by the successful integration of intelligence, technology, and human skill, which had achieved a result many had previously deemed impossible. The psychological impact on Japanese forces was equally profound, as the rapid neutralization of air capabilities disrupted command structures, instilled fear, and diminished confidence in the ability to resist subsequent operations, creating long-term operational advantages for Allied planners. Intelligence teams documented every facet of the mission, from ordnance effectiveness and flight path accuracy to enemy responses and environmental considerations, ensuring that each detail contributed to a growing repository of operational knowledge. Pilots recounted the execution with precision, describing split-second decisions, evasive maneuvers, and the coordinated release of ordnance, highlighting the skill, courage, and discipline required to succeed under extreme pressure. Ground crews and engineers were recognized for their essential contributions, ensuring that aircraft were operationally ready, navigation systems accurate, and weapons systems functioning flawlessly, demonstrating that preparation was as critical as execution. Allied leadership leveraged the success to reinforce strategic initiatives, secure supply routes, and plan further offensive operations with reduced risk, capitalizing on the temporary paralysis of Japanese aerial defense. The operation underscored the importance of integrating human capability, technological innovation, and comprehensive planning, showing that when executed flawlessly, even the most audacious objectives could be achieved with extraordinary efficiency. Japanese forces, despite attempts to salvage equipment, repair infrastructure, and reorganize personnel, were unable to recover quickly, ensuring that Allied dominance in the region was maintained and future operations could proceed with minimal interference. Historians and military analysts later cited the operation as a case study in operational excellence, emphasizing how synchronization, preparation, and audacity combined to produce results of historic significance, altering the trajectory of the Pacific War. Pilots returning from the mission were celebrated not only for bravery, but also for their precise execution of complex maneuvers under extreme stress, highlighting the interplay between human skill and strategic planning. Command centers coordinated follow-up operations based on the lessons learned, ensuring that momentum was maintained and that the success of the mission had lasting operational benefits. Every participant understood the historic gravity of their contributions, recognizing that the operation's impact extended far beyond immediate tactical victories, shaping broader strategic outcomes and redefining Allied capabilities in the Pacific. The operation demonstrated that courage, preparation, and flawless execution could overcome even the most formidable adversaries, transforming the impossible into an achievable and decisive victory. As the sun set over Okinawa, the skies reflected the transformation achieved, symbolizing the culmination of meticulous planning, coordinated action, and extraordinary human resolve, marking the mission as a defining moment in World War II history. The legacy endured, serving as a testament to the power of intelligence, courage, and disciplined execution in achieving strategic objectives, ensuring that the lessons and triumphs of the operation would inform military strategy for generations to come. Every participant, from pilots and crew to engineers and strategists, understood the enduring significance of their role, leaving behind a permanent imprint on the history of the Pacific theater, a record of extraordinary planning, courage, and achievement that exemplified the essence of successful wartime operations.